discussions. Okay, so we can just use these discussions. We just make it how many for one presentations will be 5 minutes, right, Dr. Dimas?
Okay, doctors. Here, I guess the simple procedures. First of all, please turn on the video for all the group 1 until group 5. Yeah. So that we know that you are there. Yeah. For the first one, because the assessment will be started since you are already in the Zoom. Yeah. And the second one, when you have turned on the video or the camera, so every single group should share what the main finding, including the solutions, what the possible solution offered regarding with the case study given. Maybe maximum, maybe 5 minutes, yeah. 5 minutes, yes, 5 minutes each, yeah. And after that, we can go for the discussions randomly to all the groups, 1 until 5. And during your presentations, then Dr. Zalina and myself will start to assess or give you marks according to the form given by Dr. Zalina. That, doctor, perhaps the simple scenario. And then the presenters can be only one, the representative, or all of you can present. But before you start the presentation, not presentation, but answer the questions, please introduce your members, yeah, and ensure that your members is here, because we will ensure that all the members are attending this program, yeah. So the question to you all is, perhaps, doctor, my humble suggestion is, what is the main finding of your discussions, and what is the possible solutions or policy recommendations given by your groups according to the case study shared by both of us? That, Dr. Zalina, perhaps my humble suggestions. What do you think, doctors?
Okay, I'm agree, Doctor. Okay, then I think we just I think we go group by group. So starting from group 1, and then group 1 can start with the introductions of your group members, and then after that you will discuss about the findings of your discussions. Okay, based on your finding. Okay, so maybe you can discuss, maybe when your first presenter present the findings, maybe the friends, the members of the group can add something. Okay, if you think that you need add something, then you just go, you just add simultaneously. No need to ask permission from us. You just add anything that may helps your elaborations or your explanations of the finding will be effective. Okay, so I think we start with the group 1. You can just introduce yourself, introduce your group member, and then start to present your findings. And then after that, maybe the friends, your friends, your team member can add something. Make it simple, and then just tell us what you find from that particular case that we have given to you before. Okay, you may start now.
Yes, please. The group 1. Could you please turn on the camera and start to share yours, and also including all the members?
If you have something to share, you just share your maybe you have one slides of presentation, just share with us, and then you start to discuss. We will evaluate your discussions, and based on your discussions today, your presentation, and also your narrative writings. Okay, group 1. Okay, group 1 we have Lee Zien, Nur Maizatul Akmal, Nur Izian, and from UMY we have Putri and Gracia Putri. Hopefully I pronounce correctly your names.
Yes, doctor. Wait a minute, because we need to share our presentation, doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perhaps for all the groups, I mean, while you are waiting for the chance, for your turns, please do prepare all the technical things so that during the time of group 1 finish, so you can just carry on for your turns. So make the time efficient. Okay, Engra, please start with your not presentation, but you just answer. Our question is, what is your main finding of the discussions, and what is the main policy recommendation that you give to the policymakers concerning with the issues that we shared? Engra.
All right, sir. Because I using my phone, sir. Maybe I will answer it because wait a minute, please. So we take India for our country about the policy we looking in economic instability and recession in the countries. The policy taken by India government is about about the fiscal policy. What the kind of fiscal policy that the government India takes is about the strategy of liberation tax income 2 years from the first year that produce profit that auspicious level 15% afterward in India, and expanded physical to R&D be an initiative mainly to mobilize and push more investment private. When compass long M push the growth rates. Can you see our presentation, sir?
Yes. Okay, just continue.
Okay, and the India have the good relationship with the American for make the product as we know in all the world in the world is have the product made by China, and India and America probably have same good relationship to make the production of good and service is made by India. And although the India GDP, we can see here the comparison has not been able to overtake the GDP of China because the some factors. The first is the level of the corruption in India is still high. The second is income inequality. The third is high crime rate. The fourth is the absence of control in population. 5 is low per capita income level. 6 is lack of education, and the last is the existence of the caste. Like that, doctor. Maybe our group answer.
Okay, Sister Engra, before you start, you have not yet introduced your groups names, yeah? And then our question is actually, you can start with the problem faced by your respected countries, yeah? For example, India, what is the main problem actually? And then what is the policy recommendation taken by the government in short, yeah? And then how you respond to this policy given by the governments. It means that how you think this policy effective by giving perhaps some theoretical and maybe evidence based on the understanding that you have. This is the thing that we are expecting, Engracia. So could you please respond that way in short? Or maybe other groups?
Or it's maybe our member of the group can answer it, sir.
Yeah, could you mention the names? So because the assessment has been processing right now, me and Dr. Zalina has been right now is filling the marks, yeah, according to some items, including also how you can convince us about the policy response, and then how you analyze the policy response that offered by the existing governments. This is the thing that we want to hear from you all.
Any members wants to add something?
Sorry, sir, Doctor.
Any of your member would like to add something?
Yeah, maybe they would, Doctor.
Okay.
So before, maybe I'm sorry, we forgot to introduce our member group.
Okay.
Introduce myself. My name is Engracia Putri Johana, and I'm from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Maybe my friends of my member of group would introduce themselves.
Okay, group member from UUM, would like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I will like to explain about what the effective policy that can solve the problem in the case study. So,
University Utara Malaysia.
my name is Li Zhen, matric number 2799090 from UUM. So,
And my name is Nur Izzah binti Idrus, number 2799480.
Okay.
so I will.
Okay. Yes, Brother Zain. My question is, I just want to get straightforward answer from you all, group one. The question is simple, yeah. What the sources of instability in the respected country that you analyze? For example, India, the first questions. And second question is, what the policy response by the India in respect to these existing conditions and the existing sources of instability? And the third question is, what do you think about the policy response given by the government? Do you feel that this policy response enough, or you have any other idea regarding this matter? That our concern, Brother Zin, please.
So can I answer for the question two? So for the effective
Yes,
policy
please
then,
carry on. Carry on,
Yes,
please
yes,
carry
continue,
on.
continue.
so I think the effective policy that can solve the economic problem in India, like the instability economy. So I think the country must implementing a fiscal stimulus package, which refer to government spending and tax policy that are designed to boost economic growth during time of economic downturn. And there are several ways in which fiscal stimulus can help reduce economy in India, instability and recession. So first, the government of India can increase the spending that will stimulate demand for goods and service, leading to increased production and employment in the country. And additionally, fiscal stimulus can also help to increase confidence and stabilize financial markets. So during time of economic uncertainty, business and consumer may become more cautious with their spending, leading to further contraction of the economy. So I think this policy is good enough if government of India can use it to solve the recession and economic instability. So other group member want to add something?
Okay, this group has another 3 minutes, please, or 2 minutes. Dr. Zarina, you have any other response, Dr. Zarina? If we have another 2 minutes before move to the second group.
Okay, ZN okay, not just ZN, okay, group 1 I would like to ask you something about why you said that this policy, why you conclude that that policy that have been taken by the Indian government, you said that it is enough, when you said enough, it must be something that related to that particular words enough, okay? Okay, why you said that it is enough, okay? And what are the what is the example? I just want one, I just want one example. What is the examples of the tools that has been taken by the government that you can that group 1 can assume that not assume, you can conclude that it is enough policy? Maybe you can share with us the tools and also why you said that it is enough. It must be something when you conclude that. Anyone would like to answer this?
Yeah, I will try to answer it. So why is enough for the government to use this policy? So in my opinion, like fiscal stimulus, it can take the form of increased government spending on infrastructure projects, unemployment benefits, and other social welfare programs, as well as tax cut for individual and business. So fiscal stimulus can be an effective tool for addressing economic stability, as it can help to boost aggregate demand and stimulate economic activity. So for the example, if the government increase spending on infrastructure projects, it can create jobs and stimulate demand for goods and services, which can help to boost economic growth. So similarly, to tax cut can put more money in the hand of consumer and business, which can encourage them to spend more, thereby increasing demand and supporting economic growth. That's all for me.
Okay, I think
doctors?
that's all from me. Thank you
Yeah.
for group 1. Dr. Dima, do you want to add something?
No, enough, doctors. I think the
Enough,
time
okay.
is up. Yeah, enough. Thank you so much, group 1, for your presentations. Okay, we go to the second group right now. Please, second group. Yes, please, sisters. You have around 5 minutes to present and share, and then 3 minutes for us to Q&A session then. So please, before you start, introduce your members, and then please ask our questions. A question is, what is the country or what the case study countries that you look for and look through, and then what the policy response given by this respected country, and then how do you think about the policy given by them? Do you think it is enough, or you do have any other idea? Please, time is yours, sisters.
All right, can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, please use.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to our lecturers, Dr. Dimas and Dr. Zarina. And we are from group 2. We're presenting about economy analysis case study. Our group consists of 4 members, which is Chong Yu, Tan Wei Jun, Tan Kok Shin, and me, myself, Yusliza binti Muhammad Yassin. So for the introduction, the economy outlook is a summary of the economic activities which contains the government's plans for carrying out the economy as well as the development plans and policies that the government will take in the next year, forecasted expectations for how well the economy will perform are usually in the form of quarters, years, or other time periods. An economic outlook could include expectations for inflation, productivity growth, unemployment, and balance of trade. So I will pass to my group members.
Hi, am I audible? Hello. Okay, I continue my presentation. Good day, everyone. I'm Chong Yu. Then, first of all, the country is selected actually is the UK country. And then the sources causing the economic stability is because of the repercussion of COVID-19. And then the main impact of the repercussion of COVID-19 actually is because of the supply side. Because when the COVID-19 started and many factory, many countries are forced to start the lockdown action in order to control the spread of pandemic. And then when the lockdown start, all the factory will be closed and stop producing all the product. And as we all know, then when the aggregate demand, which all the human need the basic necessity for survive, so when there is no supply in the market, the aggregate demand will increase. And then when the aggregate demand is larger than the aggregate supply, then it will causing the increasing of price and brings the inflation in the market. Therefore, it is one of the sources that causing the inflation in the country. Next, I will pass to our next member to present with the second sources of economic instability. Thank you.
Thank you, Yo-Yo. And now I will continue my presentation for the sources of economic instability, which is Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Since the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, There are many investors, market participants, and policymakers anticipate that the war will have negative impacts on the world economy, such as increasing inflation and increasing risk of serious negative outcomes, which will affect people globally. It is undeniable that many countries were affected from the war between Russia and Ukraine, which include US, UK, and others. So the Ukraine war's impact on trade have caused the UK economy to decline. However, the UK is less vulnerable than its neighbors in Europe to the immediate economic impacts due to the war between Russia and Ukraine. The war may still have considerable impact on UK commerce, nevertheless in the indirect and long-term ways. Due to the war, London's role as a hub for kleptocratic wealth from Russia and other countries has come under heightened scrutiny, and the UK government has responded by imposing sanctions against entities and people with ties to Russia. Indirectly, by signaling the UK is no longer open to trade with specific nations, which causes the import to increase and export to decrease. Due to high import and low export, the net export will be decreasing, which will cause high inflation. Also, legal limits on economic activity will cause high inflation. So the war between Russia and Ukraine had caused impacts on economic instability, which led to high inflation, high unemployment, and slow economic growth. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello, thank you, Wei Jun, and my name is Tan Kok Sing, and I will continue with the presentation. Yeah, you can see that the inflation rate in UK is keep increasing. As we can see in the January, the inflation rate is 5.456, and then until the November is reached at 10.672. The inflation rate keep increasing from January until November, and we can know that the reason of this are mainly because of the Russian and the Ukraine war, because the Russian and Ukraine war has caused a lot of problem toward UK, because UK are too rely on the supply of the energy from Russia, because we taken a report or statistic from a report that Russia is the one of the most largest energy supply to the world, and UK are at the top 10 of the import the energy from them. And when the Russia and Ukraine war happened, the UK have a lot of conflict happen between Russia. So the Russia have decided to cut their supply of the gas and natural gas, and also fuel supply to the country of UK. So this caused a lot of inflation into their original inflation that they are just recovering from the COVID-19. And the Bank of England have decided to use the constraint policy, which was increasing their interest rate to overcome this problem. Although this policy are good, one of the good way to control the inflation, but it also caused the increasing of the unemployment rate. But the UK country are still using the policy because they are mainly focused on controlling the inflation rate rather than the unemployment rate. So if they also expected the inflation rate to reduce to normal in the middle of the 2023, and then they will take the next step to to solve the unemployment problem. Thank you. That's all from me, and we will continue to the next one.
All right, I will continue with the next part, which is we related to the macroeconomic theory to reduce the inflation. Actually, the most effective way is we using the contractionary monetary policy. This is because monetary policy has been agreed as a fastest way to reduce the inflation in a short time. As we increase the interest rate, the money supply in the market will significantly decrease, and then it will cause the increasing of the loan rates, the borrowing costs, and the reduce the disposable income in household hand. Therefore, it will significantly decrease the aggregate demand and shift the aggregate demand to the left, whereby it will cause the product price in market decrease, and lastly, control the inflation rate. Beside that, because as previously mentioned, that the sources making the economic instability actually is because it's from the supply side. Therefore, a supply side economy actually is also can, from our opinion, is also can use to help it reduce the inflation rate, where government can doing some policy in order to increase the supply side, such like increase the technology and so on, which can bring an increase of supply in the long run. And then this will bring the aggregate supply shift to the left, and then therefore it can reduce the price and increase the output. And lastly, we can reach our aims, which is reduce the inflation rate. I think I can pass to the next presenter, Lisa, continue with our conclusion.
All right, so for the conclusion, there are many sources that cause economic instability, but the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war are the main factors leading to the rapid rise of current inflation. The contractionary monetary policy and supply side policy are the suggested measures to solve inflation, but the implementation policy might not bring the expected outcomes in reality because of the variety of the market and human behavior. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sisters and brothers. Very enlightening presentations. Dr. Zarina, you have any question first, please?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon to everyone. I would like to ask your group, okay. Actually, you identify two sources of economic instability. One is the COVID-19. Okay, so this the COVID-19, you said that it is health issue. Okay, so it is a health issue, and another thing is another issue that you identify is about the Russians war. Okay, the Russians war. Okay, could you please explain to us, me and Dr. Dimas, what is the significant difference between these two types of issues? Okay, these two types of issues on the economics. Okay, in terms of the implications on the prices, and maybe you can also include some of the differences that related to the economic growth. Okay, what are the difference between these two economic shocks on the economy? One in terms of the prices, and the second one on the economic growth.
Yeah. Maybe if for the Russia and Ukraine war, maybe it will affect the overall the transportation, because all the transporter vehicle need the fuel, and also with the energy that supply from Russia. But in UK country, it seemed like they didn't have much produce of the material of the neutral gas or fuel, is if not mistaken. So they are too reliable from them. If Russia didn't, they cannot supply the natural gas, fuel, or also the petroleum from them, they would not be able to continue their growth in the economy. That much majority of their industry still need a lot of the material, like this natural gas, also such as the product of, and not product, the produce of the electric, like the need of natural gas. So I think that will stop them from continuous or economic growth from them. And also for the health problem, which is COVID-19. COVID-19 has caused a lot of recession in economy. The recession not only because the internal, like something, they're forced to shut down the firms because they need to control the spread of COVID-19. They also need to like continue their business or also their trade with other countries, so that their economy can still run, although the lockdown of the country. Or other member can other suggestion.
Yeah, I got some suggestion. Continue with Dan. I think that the difference between the COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war is the COVID-19 is because of the aggregate demand, because of people increasing the aggregate demand, therefore makes the increasing of price and causing the inflation. However, in the Ukraine-Russia war, is because of the supply shock. When the war happens, it will suddenly lost a big part of the supply in the market, and this is the main reason causing the price increase. And lastly, happens the inflation, the rapid rising of inflation in our global market.
Okay, because the time is very time limitations. My humble question to all of you, the group 2 is only, do you think that the current government rightly give the policy in terms of the increasing the interest rate? Do you agree on that? And just short answer, why?
In
Please,
short
Dr.
term,
Tan.
in short term, I think it's a good decision from the government or also the Bank of England, because they need to reduce the inflation of the price. For long term, I think they will need to take the extra action for further problem to solve it from them.
Okay, I guess enough, Dr. Zalina, for the second group.
Okay, Dr. Dimas.
Okay, thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for having this discussion. Very interesting discussion. Thank you. And we move to the third group. Please proceed the third group. Time is yours for 5 minutes presentation and 3 minutes more and less Q&A sessions.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for Dr. Dimas and Dr. Zalina to give us opportunity to present our finding in discussion today. Our discussion is global economic analysis. We choose Malaysia country for this analysis discussion. Before we start, let me introduce our groups. My name is Ilham Manzif. I'm from UMY. And my friend Halimatul Saidiah from UUM and Nurul Tasnim from UUM and Nur Ainatul Nadhira from UUM. Okay, next. Okay, the Russia-Ukraine conflict and China COVID restriction are the reason for the economic slowdown in 2022. Global economic and international markets have been affected by the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Production in various industries is likely to be affected due to supply disruption because the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and both countries play significant role for exporter of the oil, gas, wheat, energy, food, and fertilizer. Because of this, especially those in Malaysia will experience change in the price or availability of food and energy. That's because in Malaysia, the relationship with Russia have made significant progress in enhancing the economic ties between the two countries in recent years. From 2003 to 2014, the total trade turnover between the two countries increased from 425 million to 2.8 billion. So that as a result of this conflict, the Malaysia economic will also be disrupted. In other side, due to China COVID restriction, it is now quite clear that Malaysia economic as a whole and the economic well-being of the people within it will suffer greatly from this pandemic. This COVID-19 shock from China could have disastrous economic consequences for Malaysia. Malaysia economic is one of the most affected by demand and supply from China. Outside of other ASEAN countries, Chinese visitor and investor make up a very large share of Malaysia total annual revenue.
Next, we'll talk about economic instability. Economic instability caused by the war between Russia and Ukraine and China COVID restrictions result in decline in the global development, which has an impact on the world economy market. US put economic trade restrictions, which is the result in supply interruptions. Trade partners are forced to deal with the volatile of the supply of commodity as a result of Russian and Ukraine war, which is contribute to economic instability. China COVID restrictions generate adverse supply shocks in the economy, which is resulting in global economic instability. The nations and the world economic operation had to shut down in order to stop the virus from spreading, which is contribute to global economy. And monetary policy is a tool or a mechanism for controlling the money supply and boosting the economic growth to ensure to balance the economy. So we continue the relationship, economic instability and inflations. Russian, Ukraine and war. Moscow is the second largest natural gas and oil export in the world. Oil price increase is lead to the inflations and price of gasoline in Malaysia will rise. Rise and a fall of the oil price in Malaysia are influenced by world oil price and exchange rate of the ringgit Malaysia. China COVID restriction relationship in inflations is manufacturing good import from China have a decrease. The basic food having price pressure, which is increasing in the price. Inflation from the COVID-19 sensitive good is more affected by pandemic-related distribution, social distancing, and supply constraint. Oops, sorry. So we pass to the next presentation.
Assalamualaikum. The government has used monetary policy to address this problem by raising interest rate. This can be seen with the action of Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) increase overnight policy rate OPR. The increase is necessary to prevent the economy from experiencing too many price change. BNM Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) adjust the OPR to avoid excessive domestic demand, which could increase inflation pressure. The decision to raise the OPR is also intended to prevent more aggressive increase in bank leading interest rate in the future. Despite the change made, monetary policy will continue to be a opportunity this year to support sustainable economic development and maintain stable price. Some of the world's large economies have raised interest rate on their respective loan this year due to rising inflation. Therefore, Malaysia should also increase interest rate because it is expected to restore the national economy. The country economy can be stabilized and inflation can be reduced by increase the OPR. This policy is seen to have a positive effect on the economy. Since the OPR increased last May, Malaysia inflation rate is seen to be decreased even at a small rate. This is seen a very positive development for the Malaysia economies, and the effect can be seen better in the longer period of time in the future. I will send to the next presentation.
Okay, the conclusion, in short, the conclusion to solve this problem, Malaysia government is prioritizing plans to strengthen the country's supply chain. Therefore, by improving the supply chain in Malaysia, Malaysia is not dependent on foreign country to obtain raw material, which will increase production costs if inflation occurs. So with that, production prices can be controlled by the government.
Okay, thank you for your presentations. Group 3, Ilham and the others, the team members. For me, I would like to ask you about the one question, okay? Okay, in your opinions, your group, during your discussions, and maybe you got you have opinions on the Malaysians' strategy to overcome the problems of inflations. So in your slide and your narrative writings, okay, you talk more on the monetary policy as a chosen policy to overcome this problem. Okay, one is the OPR. Okay. Okay, in your opinions, when you discuss on the Malaysian case, okay, do you think that OPR alone can be effective strategies to reduce the prices, the inflations? And what is I just want one. What is the other strategy that can be used by the central banks of Malaysia to reduce the inflation, to overcome the inflations, rather than rely on the OPR.
In my opinion, for OPR monetary policy and OPR strategy, I think in short term, it's can be used to Malaysia government to stabilize the economy. But
the best for the
but I think in long term we should if OPR not effective on inflations to stabilize the inflations. So I think the government should do with the other policy, which is a fiscal policy.
Okay, thank you so much for group 3. Dr. Lima, do you want to add something?
I have one question, not question actually. I just want to put it into context. Actually, if we look at the monetary policy, we have to put into the context of the business cycles movement actually. So the business cycle actually shows you about to what extent the monetary policy effectively affecting the economy. So for example, in the case of economics recessions, so the monetary policy will be so passive, yeah, and then depend on the fiscal policy, and also by giving the MMT policy, modern monetary theory, for example. In the midst of the expansionary policy, the fiscal and monetary policy become more active, yeah, because they try to improve and increase the economic situations. But in the midst of economics deleveraging, yeah, so monetary policy becomes more active because they want to reduce the movement of the depressions, the move of the price increasing, yeah. So in this context, then, if we look at the current situation, actually, the increase of the interest rate is the signals where the economy in the position of the deleveraging process, deleveraging in the context of multi business cycles. So it is in mid of the boost and the bust periods. Yeah. So once economic ups, yeah, and then the economy is starting to going down actually. Therefore, the interest rate going up in order to combat the movement of the inflation becomes higher and higher. Just humble question to Ilham and teams. In respect of this interest rate, increasing the interest rate, do you think that this interest rate will be higher in next year, Ilham, or the team? Do you think that the interest rate will be higher again, will be increasing again in the next year? And why, according to your observations, please?
yes, I think next year inflation will be increased. So that right now we already know that central bank will increase the OPR again. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentations. Very interesting. Thank you. You can just end and stop the sharing of the slide. And then we move to the fourth group. Please, the fourth group, time is yours.
Doctor, I couldn't share the screen because host disabled participant screen sharing.
Who will be presenting, please? Could you
Yogashni.
identify yourself?
Group
Could
for
you
Yogashni.
raise your hand? Raise your hand so the administrator here can easily make you as co-host. Then. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, please, sister, you can share yours.
Okay. Am I audible? And can you see me, Doctor?
Yes, yes, very
Okay.
clear.
Yes, Yoga.
Carry on, sister, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Please introduce your group member, yeah?
Yes, sure. Sure, Doctor. So today we are going to explain about the narrative writing for non-credit mobility program. Our group members are first me, Yogashni from UUM. Second is Lee Chun Hao from UUM2. And third is Afika from UUM. And lastly, Monica Kis Al Zahara from UMY. So the country we chosen for this case study is United States. So the topic that we choose for this case study is about inflation. So inflation is regarded as one of the most important economic indicators since it shows the changes in a country consumer price index. The inflation rate is the rate at which overall price of good level of goods and services varies over time. The global event like COVID-19, supply chain supply chain constraint, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine all contributed to the relatively severe inflationary problem that was affiliated by the United States in 2022. Okay, next. Next part is a little bit of analysis on inflation rate in US. According to the graph beside, global events such as COVID-19, supply chain constraint, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine has impacted the United States inflation, risen from 1.4% in January 2021 to a high of 9.1% in 2022. Concern about the state of the economy and the ability to meet rising monthly expenses with the same income has grown as a result of the dramatically higher basic good prices, low lending rates, COVID-19 related supply limitation, and solid consumer spending assisted in part by stimulus check had already boosted the price of the pressure prior to the Russia's invasion of Ukraine in the February 2022. So that's all from me. I would like to pass to the next presenter.
So I will continue the presentations about the monetary policy. First, Congress has required that Fed promote maximum employment and stable price and moderate long-term interest rate. And FOMC is charged of making monetary policy to make decisions to achieve these objectives. And dual required goals is also have to maximum employment and price stability to create the conditions for moderate long-term interest rates. And monetary policy or all of this has an impact on economic activity, and ultimately the Federal Reserve primary objective of maximum employment and price stability. And United States Federal Reserve Bank told they increased the interest rate from 0.25 in 26 January 2022 to 4.25% in 14 December 2022. And this is the graph, the explanation. As we can see from macroeconomic theory that if interest rate is increased, so the investment activity will decrease in the market and the ID will decrease, so the inflation can be solved. So maybe we can continue to the next discussions.
Okay, so hi, so I will present about the fiscal policy. So in fiscal policy, there are two categories, which is tax and government expenditure. So for the progressive tax, it will limit the pace for individual income increase so that overall economic spending may be decreased. Next, we have federal funding. It is to accept the opposite of the government transfer payment. So for example, there are unemployment avoidance scheme during the recession. So this government aid will provide the unemployment until they find the new jobs. So this is can support them to minimize the drop in the total spending that is brought by the unemployment. And then we have the discretionary fiscal policy, which is referred to the government effort to making changes in tax and government spending to overcome the economic problems. This discretionary fiscal policy is used when the automatic fiscal policy is not effective. And there are three ways to implement this policy. Firstly is changing the government spending only. Second is changing the tax only. And the third one is to changing the government spending and tax simultaneously. So next, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, or we call it as IRS, is created by the United States to solve the inflation. This is to set a minimum tax by the corporate, which is 15%, and then the IRS enforcement, and it will have 1% tax for the trade stock. As we know, the increasing tax will let the C and the I to decrease. So besides that, the government can also reduce the government expenditure by giving less subsidy on medicine. Then the decrease of C and I and G will let the aggregate demand down and shift to the less. So this will let the price to reduce and the inflation can be solved. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
So in conclusion, policymakers can ensure that all parts of the government are working to temper inflation. And then the American also use both of the policy, which is fiscal policy and monetary policy, to control the inflation. So the fiscal policy they use is through the increase of tax and reduce the government spending. And for the monetary policy is they increase the interest rate from 0.25% until 4.25%. So we believe that the policy taken by American can solve the inflation. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, brothers and sisters. I will be the first, perhaps. I would like to ask you just simple questions. Group 4. You mentioned about the fiscal and monetary policy simultaneously. Could you please give me elaboration in terms of the when the fiscal and monetary policy would be effectively affecting the economy? So under which conditions the fiscal and monetary policy will effectively affecting the economy? Just that, my questions. And you can connect with the existing conditions or the context that you are just presenting. Please, sisters, brothers.
I say the fiscal policy first. Okay, for the fiscal policy, the government is increase the tax on corporate and set a new tax on so the tax on corporation will and the tax on third stock will decrease the AS curve from 81 like that from 81 to 82. So they will decrease the price from P1 to P2. Okay. Beside that, the fiscal policy also one is decrease the government spending. That also will decrease the AD curve from 81 to 82. Okay, for the monetary policy is the government increase the interest rate. They will let the cost of borrowing increase, and the investment will less to borrow and less to do the investment activity. They also will affect the AD curve to decrease. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, please, Dr. Zalina, if you have any questions.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and good afternoon, group 4. Okay, okay, congratulations for your presentation. So it is good explanations on the policy. Okay, I would like to ask you something about the interest rate, okay, the impacts of the interest rates. Okay, you know that interest rate will not just impact, will not just affect inflation, it is also affects so many other things. Okay, so when the Feds use interest rate, okay, in order to overcome the problems of inflations, they also create something else, okay, they also create some other issues in the economics. Okay, could you please elaborate to us, okay, what are the other impacts, okay, of the interest rate that may occur as a consequences of the actions that has been taken by the Federal Reserve of US government?
When the FED increase the interest rate in their country, they will let the value of US dollar increase. So they will let our country like Malaysia the value of our ringgit Malaysia will decrease, and all of the Asian country also will decrease their money value. So this also force all of the country need to increase their interest rate to balance the halal pertukaran.
Exchange rate.
Exchange rate.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Group 4. I think that's all from me. Dr. Dimas, anything that you like to add?
No, I guess we have out of the time, doctors, for the Group 4. Thank you very much for the presentation, Sister Yoga and all the groups. Yeah, very interesting discussions. And we move to the next group, the last group, the 5th group. Time is yours. Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, please, sister.
Okay, we can hear you, Izrin.
Okay, doctor, can we just explain without using slide?
Okay, so who wants to be the presenter? Izrin, right?
Yes, I'm the first one. Okay.
Could you please raise your hands, Izrin, so that the admin from UMY can recognize you? Okay.
Okay, please carry on, sister.
Okay,
you can share now.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Izrin binti Omar. I'm from UUM. Our group member is Kogileswari Sugumaran, second Rizka Shania, and Fibrianti Aziza. Okay. For the economic outlook is in 2023 has shown that several countries around the world have experienced sudden economic shock caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, next I will pass to the Kogileswari.
I would
Sorry,
say that our
sisters. Before you continue, you have not yet shared your screen, your slide here. Are you going to share the slide or just speaking without slides?
speaking without slides.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Please continue, please.
Okay, so I would say that our main finding about the sources of economic instability is when invasion of Ukraine by Russia in February 2022, which had a significant impact on world energy prices. The war led to security concerns and economic uncertainty and instability. Due to this war, increased energy costs probably result in higher prices for products and services. So the world headed towards a recession because of rising interest rates and real income decline. So the economic effects will mostly be seen because of the increase in commodity prices, which will exacerbate already present inflationary pressures that affect the economic instability. So the policy to be implemented to cope the economic instability will be presented by the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay. So one of the government effort is to maintain currency stability to ensure price stability and currency exchange rate. The government can manage interest rate and foreign exchange rate to maintain price stability and the currency exchange rate. Central bank can change interest rate by issuing monetary policy that increase or decrease interest rate. If interest rates are rising, the cost of borrowing will be higher, so that people will be more selective in spending their money, and the level of public consumption will decrease. Conversely, if the interest rates are lowered, the cost of borrowing will be lower, so that people are more inclined to spend their money and the level of public consumption will increase. Central bank can also manage foreign exchange rate by selling or buying foreign currency. If the central bank sell foreign currency, it will lower the exchange rate of the domestic currency against foreign currency, so that the price of imported goods will be more expensive for domestic people. Conversely, if the central bank buys foreign currency, it will increase the exchange rate of the domestic currency against foreign currency, so that the price of imported goods will be cheaper for the domestic community. The next will be explain next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, the next policy is conventionally fiscal policy is intended as an engineered tool in economic with the dimension of the free market mechanism that is expected to influence the behavior of countries' economic activity. So fiscal policy is a government policy related to the use of taxes, public loans, public spending by the government for the purpose of stability or development, so that the capital is formed and the pace of economic growth is going well. The best policy in general is aimed at equal distribution of income and welfare. In a conventional economic system, sources of government revenue consist of three parts, namely funds, which are the primary sources of revenue originating from tax collection, consisting of domestic taxes, and the other. So fiscal policy can be good for the country in several ways, such as promoting economic growth by increasing government spending and decreasing taxation, stabilizing prices. Fiscal policy can also be used to stabilize prices by decreasing government spending or increasing tax. This can help to reduce inflation and maintain stable prices, which can be beneficial for business and households. And yeah, that's all for me. Maybe the next friends will explain about conclusion. Thank you.
So the conclusion, the government has started working to solve these issues domestically. So the government effort is to keep the currency stable to ensure the price stability and currency exchange rate. The government can control interest rate and foreign exchange risk. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Israel and the groups. Okay, group 5, thank you for your presentations. Okay, I'm not sure about the country that that you have chosen for this for your group for your case study. Anyone have you mentioned about the country that you choose, the chosen country?
I think we chose the UK one. I think we didn't mention in the report.
Okay, so your explanations, all of your explanation is regarding the policy that related to UK.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to ask you about the you have mentioned about the how monetary policy and also the fiscal policy affected economy. So between these two policy, okay, you can use UK as an example. Okay, I just want you to elaborate. I would like you to elaborate about the impacts, the differences impacts of this, the differences impacts of monetary policy and economics policy that has been taken by the UK governments. So, so regarding these two types of policy, in your opinion, which policy would be good for the fine tuning so that economic can the variables of the economics, the macroeconomics variable can act effectively faster. So in your opinion, which policy can be a good fine tunings, and what are the policy tools that that can be good and effective as a fine-tuning policy?
Yes, Miss. Basically, I think monetary policy and fiscal policy are two different tools that governments use to influence the economy activities, right? So monetary refers to the action taken by the central bank, and fiscal policy refers to the government use of spending and taxation to influence the economy. I think it would be better if the countries take monetary policy, because the central bank can maintain and reduce the circulation of money. So yeah, that's my opinion. But I think monetary policy and fiscal policy can have significant impact also on our economy. For example, monetary policy can influence the cost of borrowing money, which can affect business investment and the other. But fiscal policy can also affect demand and the economic through the government spending and taxation. Yeah, I think this kind of two policies is good for the country, but I think the best policies that they should take is monetary policy. Is in my personal view. Thank you, Ms.
Okay, thank you, Sis Priska. That's all from me, Dr. Dimas. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes, doctors. Just one question to Rizka, concerning with the monetary policy that you mentioned just now. What do you think about the outlook of the 2023 monetary stance? Would the central banks keep increasing the interest rate? And what do you think and why? Please.
Maybe not just Rizka, other group members of group
Yes,
5,
other group
others
members also. Yeah.
also can ask, also can answer these
Yeah.
questions.
Okay, please.
I think I will
other
answer
group.
your question, Doctor. I think central bank will increase the interest rates because I think for next year, I think it can attract the investors to buy the government bonds. So thereby it will reduce the amount of money circulating in the market, and it could encourage the price stability. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, sisters and brothers. Dr. Zarina, I guess we have already let all the groups presented the result. Do you have any other comment, doctors, before we close the sessions?
Okay,
Or
Assalamualaikum.
evaluation, perhaps, in general.
Okay, I would like to congratulate to all of the presenter of all group, okay, starting from group 1 until group 5. You are really good presenter for today's sessions. And from my observation, okay, I think you already you studied the case. I know that from your discussions today. I know that you studied the case. You really prepared for our sessions today. You really prepared for this, and from your answers, I can conclude that you prepared well. Okay, you prepared well in terms of the analysis of the case. I think you also have enough data and enough information to answer our questions. But even though it is not 100% related, or it is not 100% answered our questions, but it is good for you as a starting point for you to maybe in the future, if you want to become presenter in forums or seminar, I think it will be a good, this is a good opportunity for you to get the exposure. Okay, so it is, I would like to say thank you and congratulations to all of you, 5 groups. I think it is more than 15 students involved in this today's presentation. It is good it is good exposure for you, and I really glad that you studied well the case. Okay, from your presentation, I know that you really prepare for this, and you also have a very good discussions between the team's member, your cooperations, your teamwork, okay, your cooperation, and also a good team today, because in order for you to answer our question, you must be prepared well, and hopefully, and I saw that all of your members try to help, okay, in answering the questions. Okay, I think that's all from me. Dr. Dimas.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zalina binti Zainal, for very good and inspiring response. Yeah, from my side, I do also do thank for your attendance and your. I do thank with your participation and attendance for these events, and I think it is good, good program to assimilate between UMY and UUM students, yeah, for non-credit programs. And perhaps we do think that we could do for another chance next semester, yeah, for another perhaps courses, yeah. And hopefully there would be any more collaboration, interactions, and perhaps connections, yeah, in the future, so that You are, as the young economists, the future leaders, you could have so many friends across the world. So it may maybe improve your skills, your capacity in order to contribute in the society that you are in. And the second one, I do thanks with your presentation and discussion just now. And I do see that you have a certain level of knowledge that could analyze and also could see the context or the case that you look through. But the thing that I emphasize is you have to look at the analysis based on the context. Yeah. So for sure, the context will be different based on the situation that you are looking at. For example, in the midst of economics turbulence, in the midst of economic crisis, or in the midst of normal economy, or in the situation whereby the economy is going well, it would be different in terms of the policy responses. So I do expect that your answer would be based on the context where the economy is going on, yeah, at the moment. So it makes us easy to understand, and we have the same starting points in order to analyze the situation of the economy. And in terms of the policies, either monetary or fiscal policies, actually those policies are good based on the situation where the economy is. Yeah, for sure, you have to identify first which the conditions economy is going on, so that you can identify which policy that is the best policy in order to mitigate or prevent the worst situations. With that, I would like to end the sessions. Yeah, so we have already put some marks and assessment in response on your presentation just now. And for the tomorrow, Dr. Zalina, we will still have another 5 groups. Yeah, and hopefully the 5 another groups will be better compared to the first 5 groups today. And tomorrow we'll be starting on the same time like this. Yeah. At 2 or 2:20 p.m. Malaysian time, Doctor, for the tomorrow.
Tomorrow 3, Dr. Dimas.
Oh, 3. Okay, so 3 p.m. Malaysian time.
3 p.m. Malaysian time.
Okay, or 2 p.m. Jakarta time. Yeah, so please do attend as the stated date and time. And see you for tomorrow. Thank you so much for your attention. Let we end the session by reciting Hamdalah, and thank you for all the attendance.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to remind you that your Google Form attendance it is already in the Telegram groups, so that you may also use that Google Forms to fill in your attendance for today's sessions. Okay, thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Wassalamualaikum and salam sejahtera.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih, Dr. Zalina. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.